Hello guys, I hope that all of you had a great weekend. At the beginning, I want to thank all of you for the assignment. I really was very happy to see the great work you have done. Today we are going to continue with our learning. We are going to learn about the derivative of sine and cosine functions. I want to find my markers. One second. Here they are. Okay, so derivative of sine and cosine functions. Okay, all these rules that we are going to learn today are derived from Newton's quotient rule, the first principle of calculus of derivative. I am not going to show you the proof. If we have time at the end or maybe in another video, I will show you, but you are not required to know it. For now, we're going to know the rules and we're going to apply them. Okay, so this is f of x equals sine x. Then the derivative of this function will be cosine x. Okay, if f of x equal sine f of x, this is a composite function, so we have to use chain rule. So f prime of x will equal cosine f of x, because the derivative of sine is cosine. Derivative of sine anything is cosine that thing, times f prime of x, the derivative of this function in here. If we have f of x equal sine to the power of n f of x, we're going to use chain rule twice. So f prime of x will be n sine to the power of n minus 1 f of x. Then we are going to multiply this with the derivative of sine anything, which is cosine that thing, times the derivative of whatever inside, which is f of x, f prime of x. Okay, this is the derivative of the sine function. For cosine, I will do that in orange. F of x equal cosine x, f prime of x will equal negative sine x. Okay, I don't know if you can see it. If f of x equal cosine cosine x, f prime of x equal negative sine x. I will choose another color. It wasn't a good choice. Let's say f of x equal cosine f of x. So f prime of x will equal negative sine f of x times f prime of x. And the next thing, if f of x equal cosine to the power of n f of x, we're going to use chain rule twice. So f prime of x will equal n cosine to the power of n minus 1 f of x times the derivative of cosine anything is sine, negative sine that thing, times the derivative of the function inside, which is f prime of x. Okay, those are the rules we are going to use. The most important thing is the derivative of sine is cosine, the derivative of cosine is negative sine, and the chain rule, we applied it many times before, so nothing new. Okay, I'm going to give you some examples so we can understand this better. Example 1, y equal cosine 3x. So dy by dx or y prime will equal, this is in the form of cosine f of x. So derivative of cosine anything is negative sine that thing. the derivative of f of x, which is 3x, the derivative of 3x is 3. And then we can write this in a better way, negative 3 sine 3x. Okay, this is the first example. So the derivative is this. Y equal x sine x. So when we find the derivative of this one, we are going, this is two functions multiplied. So y prime will equal the first, we have to use product rule, so the first times the derivative of the second. What is derivative of sine? Anything is cosine that thing. And this is x, so times 1. Plus the second times the derivative of the first, which is 1. So we can write this as x cosine x plus sine x. This is example 2. Okay. Now let's do one more example. Example 3. Y equal sine x squared. So dy by dx or y prime will equal sine anything, the derivative of sine anything. This is in the form of sine f of x. F of x is x squared. Sine anything, the derivative of that is cosine that thing. Times the derivative of f of x, derivative of x squared is 2x. Then we write it 2x cosine square x squared. Clear? Okay. Example 4. Let's say we have y equal sine squared x. This is in the form of g of x to the power of n. So the derivative will be n, so 2, sine of x to the power of n minus 1, so 2 minus 1, which is 1, times the derivative of g of x, which is sine x, so the derivative is cosine x, derivative of x is 1, so this will be 2 sine x cosine x. If you want to be more fancy, we know from grade 12 advanced function that 2 sine x cosine x is the same thing as sine 2x. But up to here, you did a great job. Okay. Example 5. Y equal cosine 1 plus x squared. So this is cosine of f of x. Y prime will equal cosine, the derivative of cosine f of x is negative sine f of x, times f prime of x, the derivative of 1 plus x squared. Derivative of 1 is 0, derivative of x squared is 2x. Then we write it as negative 2x sine 1 plus x squared. Okay. All right. Example 6. Y equal e to the power of sine x plus cosine x. So this is exponent. This is a composite of two functions, exponential and trigonometric functions. So we are going to work with it as e to the power of f of x. So y prime will be e to the power of f of x, which is sine x plus cosine x. This is f of x, times f prime of x. So the derivative of f of x is f prime of x. The derivative of sine x is cosine x. The derivative of cosine x is negative sine x. This is the derivative. Okay, I want to do the classic question one more. So this will be the last example, example 7. Example 7 says find the equation of the tangent line to y equal x cosine 2x at x equal pi over 2. Again, this is a classic question and we have seen it many times. We are going to do it here in trigonometric functions. So the first thing, I need to find a point on the tangent. So I have to substitute by x of the tangent point. So it will be pi over 2 times cosine 2 times pi over 2. 2 and 2 cancels out. Cosine of pi is negative 1. Remember, if you have, important thing, you have to put, when you do trig in calculus, we have to put our calculator in the radian mode. Cosine pi is negative 1, so this will be negative pi over 2. So the point is pi over 2 and negative pi over 2. This is the point. The other thing we need is the slope of the tangent, which is the derivative. So y prime will equal, we need to find the derivative of this. So first, time derivative of the second, which is negative sine 2x times the derivative of 2x, which is 2, plus the second times the derivative of the first, which is 1. We can rewrite this as negative 2x sine 2x plus cosine 2x. We need to find y prime when x is pi over 2. So this will be negative 2 times pi over 2 sine 2 times pi over 2 plus cosine 2 times pi over 2. This and this cancels out and he leaves negative pi. Sine pi is 0. So this is 0, negative 0. And this is cosine pi, which is negative 1. So now we are going to write the equation y minus y of the point, so plus pi over 2, equal m, which is negative 1, x minus pi over 2. So it is plus y minus y of the point equal negative 1, which is m. This is m, slope, x minus x of the point. Okay, have a great day.